What's up? How you guys doing out there? It's the first time really like introduce myself to the world. I'm gonna introduce myself and tell you my full name. So my full name is Ishrael H'ru Inkh Maáian. Once again, Ishrael H'ru Inkh Maáian. I am a native to this country that we call America. I'm indigenous. They call Native American. And so me realizing so many different dysfunctions and issues going on in this country with indigenous people, I was took a couple of days and sit back and thought of some ideas that would help. So yeah, my name is Israel. I rather just go by Haru. I go by different people call me different names in the past. My spiritual energy, the Golden Child, Yahushua, Ishmael, Jesus, Thoth, many different names. It's just representing spiritual essence from creation, the source of creation, of divinity, and pure love, of unconditional love, which I resonate in my soul. So I'm always knowing how to morph and grow and knowing how to connect with love. It's one of my gifts. I'm also an empath. I also have some clairvoyant abilities too. Um, but I want just to inform people on different tactics and strategies and principles based on the cosmic creation, which I call the cosmic mother or the cosmic Ma, and informing people how to get in line and in tune with themselves, and like animals do naturally, like birds do. But a lot of the things that are stopping us from getting in tune with ourselves is a lot of issues and social issues that we are dealing with that we are overlooking. And one thing we're overlooking the most constantly is the indigenous people, melanated peoples, people like me. My complexion darker doesn't matter. We just come from different complexions, and but we're still native to this land, and we get colonized, gentrified, and treated unfairly, constantly, and overlooked. And so we constantly deal with systematic issues from poor education, targeting Native Americans, targeting people of color, limiting us to a skin complexion which is black or brown or white. These limited skin complexions where we all come from tribes or nations. So and so if you think about it, you can be Hispanic and dark hue. You can be Indian and dark hue. You can be so-called what they call black and dark hue, but it's really just indigenous or native to me. Native, which is for me, I'm a Mayan, and people misconstrue Mayans from Maayans. Maayans are actually Native Americans, and just probably pronounced incorrectly, but Maayans. That's what my tribe, my nation is. I'm a king of it. Um, so yeah, so back to just dealing with the poor and poverty issues that we're uh, allowing ourselves to be consumed with and not dealing with has a lot to do with entities, like energy entities that's in this plane, but also beyond this plane. Has to do with institutional structures that's capitalizing all the despair of people, of looking at people's pain and weakness as the only way to capitalize instead of like prevention or building people spirits to a higher standard of ascension from just not from just food, but also to music and other avenues of interaction with humans. And some organizations that keep these things going on is like the KKK, the government, and other organizations that represent some form of white supremacies or want to dominate the minds of everybody else, and 90% of the people, to bring illusions to their mind to believe that black people or melanated people or indigenous people are evil, or believe all white people are racist, or just create all these different divisional tactics of see us as others and not seeing the similarities in one another, only the differences. And so these tactics to see the differences allows us to close our eyes and not take action or be verbal at the dinner table or at the office when we see these atrocities and these laws and these policies and these behaviors that are not conducive to a human life and or in this healthy ecosystem. And so we need to take heed to these things. One thing I found out from me personally being targeted, they tell you the story about Jesus, but or which was me, is Ishrael, or I call myself H'ru Inkh sometimes, or my last name is Maaian. They tell you about stories of like sacrificing ourselves and we die for sacrificing ourselves. No, those are not really the stories. We don't sacrifice ourselves. We don't come back to sacrifice ourselves. We come back to offer our divine spirit to resonate such a high vibration that you be that you feel the love and the sincerity of it, and where you feel that you're empowered to embody that same vibration and connectivity to the cosmic mother yourself. And where in the past, they have called the cosmic Ma the Holy Spirit, Jesus, me, I don't call myself Jesus necessarily, but that spirit of that talked about the Holy Spirit, talking about informing you about the Holy Spirit, which is the cosmic Ma, which is the womb energy, which the woman have, the feminine woman that we have, or the all woman species have that cosmic womb ability to produce life. And so the original God energy concept comes from a woman energy. It comes from the Ma. The M comes before the P. And so ancient civilizations and natives like myself know that. So like we'll call Ma Mother Meté, and Mata means like mother. So the Ma is very important to us. We're matrilineal, so it's not necessarily a patriarchal society. It's a matrilineal society. It's been in America for a long period of time, since the 1800s. We have had a matrilineal society that was also federally and internationally traded. Was done by some of the 5 civilized natives, so the Cherokees and different groups. And these different native groups are portions of derivatives of mixed groups of Native Americans from like the Mayans, or me, the Maaians. I'm the Maaians, or the Incas, which is also in my blood. I have multiple Native American tribes in my blood. I'm just bringing the truth and light from the cosmic energy to let you guys know what's been going on and what we're dealing with as a society. So let's go back to like issues with poverty. Institutionalized criminality is something very big that's been going on and throughout time, from forming from colonialism to gentrification, finding just means and legalizing genocide to people of melanated descent or indigenous people. And it's still going on today, but it's more sophisticated now. So now you have like the KKK, the government, and some other organizations hiring criminals through the dark web. And the way they are hired, they use their prison code, their prison number, and which allows them to get to these sites where they can see work for hire to do different crimes. And so what these crimes do, they either murder or just do crimes, which lowers the property value and also reduces the healthy conditions of like the people. And so it's a way of controlling the spiritual energy of the people. And so what you get is like you get organizing crimes are being a tool. And you see movies like The Purge. These movies are things that's been going on for years, where they've been hiring these criminals. Now these criminals are almost like they're like captive, right? Because what happens, they do crime, and if they speak about this, say I'm not a criminal and I haven't done any crime, and I'm not have no oaths or anything to this, so I'm just very intuitive. I'm a god, and so therefore I'm very omnipresent, so I know what's going on, and so I know that they're doing this. And I know they have targeted me, and so a lot of targeting me. So I've always had to keep myself moving around just to make sure I'm safe. But my spirit is very calm and at peace with that love, because I know myself, even though the things that they are trying to do. And so what happens is that with this purge that's been going on, the dark cloud, we don't understand that this organized street crime paves the way for gentrification. Why? Because the property value starts to drop so low. Melanated people move out of the city because they're too scared to stay in there, or eventually when gentrification comes, it gets too expensive. They never have the proper education. They get displaced. So you see a high levels of homeless population across the country because of this crime tactic of keep people in jail only, not only getting melanated people in jail. There's more indigenous people that are in jail now than that was actually in slavery. So there's more slaves and people in jail that have legal slavery than it's not. And some of those people that are petty crimes or indigenous, they need to be let go because they should not be should not be criminalized intentionally as have they been. Many of them have been, and we need to do something about that. So they're pretty much, you have the KKK and the government and other organization hiring black people to kill black people. And that's what's happening. And so it's been happening for a long time. We're just unaware of it because we're so entertained. And so they also, like the cops have a thing called no snitching. So the streets also adopted this calling called no snitching. Now, no snitching, it's something that is important to when you're being honorable into your family, into your nucleus, into your squad, into your thing, and you want to keep agreement when you guys converse with each other about what you guys do before you do, and you don't run your mouth, and that's one thing. But another thing is when things are unjust and injustice happening to you, and so how do we allow ourselves to create a conditioning where injustice is where you don't speak? So if I see injustice, I don't speak. If I know about injustice, I don't speak. And so I can't speak. If I should speak, that's snitching. And so what happens is that we have cops that play those same roles of no snitching. And so what we have is that good cops, get penalized or silent or get fired for bad cops because you can't snitch. So like you can't snitch, but you can't enforce the justice. So how can cops be peace officers enforce the justice, and if they can't even speak upon justice, which is called this quote no snitching? So I would advocate that we choose justice over just no snitching, and that's something that we need to look into, because justice itself means for order, harmony, and peace. And everyone wants to be connected and have some type of harmony and peace. They want some type of stability. That's what we look for as humans, some comfort and stability. And so to do these things, we all have to be accountable. And to be accountable, you have to take self-reflection. You have to look within inside yourself and see what is within you that needs to make this shift inside you to benefit you, the family, your neighbors, and your community and your nation. And so we all have to look within ourselves to do that. The next stage is kind of to be sustainable. And sustainability is to be efficient and have an efficient society. So a lot of times America has this, we can't do this, we can't change this. So it's like it's a very stagnating society because it's always based on division and not finding similarities. So it represents a unification, the United States of America, but the practices is not very united, it's very divided. And so we need to get out of the illusion and see and not only think it's united, whereas has a high level of division, and we need to find ways to make this land be a little bit more divided, with just not only with America, but with my own nation, which is Maaian, and other nations that coexist in this land from indigenous people should all be respected, protected internationally, and also universal law, cosmic law, to be protected from us being living, breathing organisms, and have the right to sovereignty, and also doing business with the Corporation of America to be based on already having been forced to, based on been born under it. And therefore reparations or some form of understanding of land should be acknowledged to Maaians, which is myself. Now, reason why crime in this thing is so important to me, and is because first off, I just love humanity. Secondly, I love indigenous Native American people. I love the indigenous cosmic natural born goddess on this planet, which is the melanated woman, the indigenous woman queen. She's the centipede of all creation, of all life on for the humankind, for human species, and she needs to be recognized as the first human being, Lucia, that's walked this planet. That is the first divine energy from the cosmic mother. Now she represents the circle, the womb, the woman, the melanated woman, and all women do. As a melanated man, we represent the first melanated being on here, the one. I am the my consciousness and spirit is the one of the first ones. I'm like come from my spirit, my quantum energy spirit comes from actually the source of creation itself, like from the beginning, from like the Big Bang. That's the reason why I'm they call me all these spiritual names, like Ishrael, H'ru Inkh Maáian, like the Golden Child. A lot of these things I've been called plenty of times. I don't like to be honored. I don't like to be worshipped because I don't believe in ideology like that. I honor the cosmic source, which is the cosmic Ma, the spiritual essence of divine of all, which encompasses all the whole circle like an Earth, but it's bigger. It's like the whole galaxy. She's the whole thing, and it's all based on frequencies and alignment and energy and your thoughts, the power of your thoughts. Like you had an ancient teacher called Thoth, which is that called me Thoth, which just means wise. I'm very wise. Like naturally, it's something that I'm just blessed with. And it's to share. It's not for me. It's to share and to inform others how wise, how beautiful they are. So let me just get back to just talking about this crime. But what's happened is that Native Americans, indigenous people, we're going through genocide and constantly been going to genocide, and I'm tired of it being justified. I'm tired of it. I've been trying. It's been plenty of times I've been tried to be assassinated plenty of times, and I think it's ridiculous. And to give you a comprehension of how it seems, it's like this is America, like that song Childish Gambino, This is America. How you see how they dance and have a good time. So you see the melanated people entertaining everybody with our natural gifts, and then at the same time we're being killed by constantly being killed right in your face, and it's another death, another death, another death, and you're like, oh, another black man died. Maybe he deserved it because obviously they've been represented as criminals, and maybe they deserve it. So we got our government participating in organized crimes with other entities, KKK and other entities. And usually these young indigenous melanated brothers and sisters, in this hard conditions, are just looking for brotherly and sisterly love and trying to find stable income. Just trying to find stable income way to survive, like anybody else, And so, with that being said, my cousin LJ, which I love so dearly, he passed away a couple years ago. Gunshot wound to the head, right in the passenger seat of his friend's car. Part of that same cycle, like that purging, he was an amazing young man, part of that same type of negative cycle where, they're keeping the black men killing each other, and you call the black on black crime, but they're funding it. And then now you gentrify out there, you have no idea. And so he had a song called Determined to Win. And it's such an amazing song. It's about staying determined to own your own spirit, like never giving up, having the drive, representing the beauty of Oakland, and because Oakland's a place where you can come and be yourself, or you can find yourself. It's just like an open space. It's like the new Mecca. It's the new Egypt. It is the spiritual light source in this Western Hemisphere now. And so he was determined to win. And so he also did a song, and I helped him do a video. He passed away. He couldn't do it, so I emulated him and did a video for him, which I'll be playing for you guys later. But yeah, he had a song called Determined to Win. And so I wanted to do an organization, co-op, under my nation, Maaian, and to honor him. And what I'm going to do with Determined to Win, I'm going to gather like multiple highly level, intelligent and well-to-do men, and we're going to create something for other young men that need support. So a couple of things we're going to be dealing with is mature, loving masculinity over toxic masculinity, teaching the differences. I call like toxic masculinity like boyism because it's very immature, and we want to be a mature, loving, masculine man. Because me as a Maaian, I honor the Ma, and so for me so you say you're mature, I want to hear the Ma in you, the wisdom, which Ma is the wisdom. I want to see you say you're masculine, I want to hear the Ma, which is the wisdom part. I want to hear that part. You say you're a man, man. I want to hear the Ma, the wise man part. And so those part is really wisdom. A man carrying wisdom and woman carrying wisdom is an understanding and knowledge. Even the Bible talks about it. I spoke about it 1,000 years ago in the Bible. You guys read the Bible. My words are there. And those are important to look internally to develop that a better person. And a lot of you guys have noticed, you guys have been worshiping me so much and waiting on me, and having this external viewpoint of God. And I've always said go internal. I've even said, you asked me to bless you and touch you or heal you, and I'll let you know. I said, let thy will be done. And what I'm telling you is that if you believe as you believe in me, then your will should be done. And so let your spirit and let your spirit connect to the source and allow your will to be done. And so we need to have a family house, a temple, a Zion, a place where we can come together and our wills can be done in a better environment. So I want to help bridge a gap. I also want to create community access for mental health. I want to turn this criminal mind, this melanated man, this black man, criminal, into a civil warrior or a civil hero. A person that has honor and participating in society, making it better over destroying it. I want to build up the neglected youth. A lot of us have been neglected as a youth, and therefore we have created anxiety, and therefore trauma comes out of this anxiety of using lower vibration and things that really are not really successful and helpful to us. Also want to help create a certain a degree system where we actually kind of manage our spiritual reform, have counselors and guides to help us get through a spiritual reform thing. So determine when, it's about really healing and finding encompassing healing and making efficient and sustainable healing. And the first step we're going to do, which I need a lot of celebrities and a lot of people out there to really help me get this done, is going to be the first initiative. And we're going to start this off with man, but we're going to have women supporting man. And so the first initiative we're going to do is going to be, it's just called planting the seed. And we as men, we carry the seed, and we always carry the seed of life, but we need to know how to carry the seed of not just a physical life of of our lower vibration, but the seed of our hearts, the seed of our minds, the seed of our wisdom, and share that, impute that to our wives and our children. And so therefore, I'm going to create this initiative called the Vegetable and Fruit Initiative, where we get organic seeds. We get men from 17 and up. Get the register of these men, and then we'll find different places in Oakland that has fertile and good land, and the man can bring their child they want. We're going to plant seeds, and we're going to teach the man how to plant seeds. We're going to teach the child how to plant seeds. Because you got to teach a man how to fish, right? And so we've been neglecting teaching the melanated man how to grow food, how to be a carpenter, how to be a fisherman, how to be a construction, so many different things. So all these things we're going to tackle one by one. But the first thing we're going to do, which is the natural thing of the earth, is plant seeds, and it's going to be a rites of passage to a certain degree for multiple men to develop certain inner self-value of knowing what seed they're planting that's more from the lower of their lungs, but from their lungs, from their hearts. And so they will be paid a stipend or so forth. They will get some type of form of pay, and they will be responsible for coming and checking in on it. and like registering when they check in. They have to register, let them know that they came in and check in, probably online through their phone, but we'll check it through GPS somehow. But we got to make sure they register and checking in on the daily or weekly or so forth, make sure it's growing. And so for they show the child how something can grow, and manifest in something new. We also have probably like poor people, like cleaning up these vegetables and fruits that's maybe left over because we don't want a dirty city. I want Oakland to be clean as Disneyland, you know. So we'll pay poor people to pick up this fruit and vegetables just laying around. We also create like a recycling bin in certain areas, so where like you can have like a code or so forth where your phone, so when you start to clean up, you can just you get specifically paid for throwing it in there and clean up the streets. So we're constantly like making things efficient and making sure that we're giving interest and money and promotions and things for people just to make main things efficient in our society. And so like we're gonna be in the dirt, digging, you know, growing food and like basic human beings supposed to know how to do, you know. Know we tell you people know ancient about like Asar, he was a grower, he's a greener, he grew, and for Egypt he had to grow, he had to grow, and we got to grow in a lot of ways. So we got to plant seeds and grow as humanity, and so melanated man, we're going to start doing this. And so this is something that I'm creating these multiple co-ops from my company Mymind. It's Determined to Win is one of the co-ops, Mymind, and another one is Oakwinstudios. And all these things I need you guys support and donating and investing on. And so back to like just digging in dirt and growing. Like we want to shift things. They've been criminalizing us, making us look one way. Like Millionaire said, want to catch us riding dirty. They always want to catch us riding dirty. And then we need to switch things. We need to look at things from a different perspective. If they want to see us right and dirty, let us see us right and dirty from after planting seeds for our future. Like reducing hunger and gaining skills. Let us crush right and dirty and not willing to not go against farming and cotton because we're slaves of doing it. Let's do it again in a way of ownership, not a slave. And a lot of these things that I want to be offered and available under Ma'aian, my nation that I'm a part of. Another thing that some of these guys that we hiring for this Determined to Win souls, like one thing they can do is not just like they can also clean up garages or deliver food or deliver any different things that people need or play sports with you. Anything that you need is some support, a male support. We're going to be developing healthy man to help guide women, children, other men, and just building a better society. And so this is the first part of what the presentation for the co-op for Mymind, Determined to Win, and Oakwinstudios. Next part I'll be talking about Oakwinstudios. After I finish the full presentation, I will be playing LJ's song Determined to Win.